Tonight's wintry sleep story is inspired by the charm of the Bavarian village of Helen in Georgia, where you will reflect on the unsolicited care that comes through immersion in the healing beauty, charm, and tradition of an old world surrounding and the kindness of strangers as you wander through the lamp-lit town at dusk. Explore a bookstore, experience a traditional German bakery, and sit in a gazebo listening to the conversation of the river. Then you will snuggle into the depths of your alpine-inspired room, where you sit in a sauna, read a poem about life in a small town, and settle in for a night of deep, restorative sleep by the fire. You're listening to Winter in Helen. Hello, and welcome to the Whispering Willow. I'm Diana, and tonight I'd simply like to invite you to slow down. For the next little while, there is nowhere you need to be and nothing you need to accomplish. Whatever this day has asked of you, it can wait until tomorrow. Tonight, your only task is to rest. Use this sleep story in whatever way serves you best. If you'd rather skip ahead to the story, that's perfectly fine. And if sleep comes before we've reached the end, you can let go of my voice at any time, knowing the village will still be here whenever you decide to return. Now allow yourself to settle comfortably into the surface beneath you. Notice how completely it supports your body. There is nothing you need to hold up, nothing you need to carry. Just allow yourself to become a little heavier with each slow breath. Feel the gentle weight of your blankets, the softness of your clothing, the quiet temperature of the room resting against your skin. Without trying to change anything, notice your breathing. Feel the coolness of the air as it enters through your nose, and the warmth of your breath as it leaves. Take one slow, comfortable breath in and let it drift back out. Do this 2 more times, breathing in calm and breathing out anything you no longer need to carry, allowing your shoulders to soften just a little more as you exhale. If thoughts arrive, simply notice them with kindness. Imagine placing each one into a small wooden boat and setting it gently upon a quiet river. Watch it drift away until the water becomes still again. Allow your breathing now to return to its own natural rhythm, knowing there is nothing required of you, nothing left to prove, nothing left to finish. Only this moment, only this breath, only the quiet comfort of knowing you are safe, supported, and gently cared for. Tonight, that care will come from warm lights, quiet streets, kind strangers, and the simple beauty of an old mountain village dressed in winter. It's time to wander. Helen is a small mountain town tucked into the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains in northeast Georgia. Once a quiet logging town, it nearly disappeared when the timber industry faded. Then, in the late 1960s, the community chose a remarkable new beginning, transforming itself into a Bavarian-inspired alpine village. Today, it's timber-framed buildings, flower boxes, and lantern-lit streets feel as though they have been carried from another time and another place. Tonight, you arrive in Helen during the blue hour, that quiet moment when daylight has faded, but the stars have not yet claimed the sky. As you step onto North Main Street, the village seems to glow from within. Snow drifts lazily through the air, catching the light of lanterns before settling softly upon rooftops, evergreen garlands, and carved wooden balconies. You are bundled comfortably in your favorite winter coat, a warm scarf wrapped around your neck, sturdy boots carrying you slowly through the fresh dusting of snow. The air is crisp against your cheeks, carrying the clean scent of winter, touched with pine, wood smoke, and something faintly sweet drifting from nearby bakeries. Your footsteps are softened by the snow beneath them. Nearby, the Chattahoochee River murmurs through the village, hidden here and there behind stone walls and timbered buildings. Its steady conversation follows you wherever you wander, a quiet reminder that some things continue gently without asking anything of you. Warm shop windows spill golden light onto the snowy sidewalks. Nutcrackers stand proudly beside decorated trees. Evergreen wreaths hang from carved doors. Here and there, candles flicker behind frosted panes, making the entire village feel welcoming, as though it has been patiently waiting for your arrival. There is no hurry here. The streets invite lingering rather than rushing. The lights seem brighter because the night is slow enough to notice them. You continue your gentle walk until you become aware of a pleasant emptiness in your stomach. At the same time, a light breeze slips beneath your scarf, and you feel the cold settle a little deeper into your shoulders. You glance down the street, wondering where you might find somewhere warm to rest for a while. And almost immediately your eyes settle upon the welcoming glow of Hofer's Bakery and Cafe. Its windows are softly fogged from the warmth inside, and every time the door opens, golden light spills onto the snowy sidewalk, carrying with it the comforting aromas of fresh bread, butter, cinnamon, and coffee. Without giving it another thought, you smile and walk toward the door. Stepping inside feels wonderfully grounding, as though you've crossed a gentle threshold from wandering into belonging. The steady hum of the ovens, the soft clink of cups, and the comforting aroma of fresh bread, butter, and cinnamon give your senses something warm and familiar to rest upon. Almost immediately, you feel your shoulders begin to relax, grateful for the opportunity to pause, warm your hands, and simply breathe. A woman with silver hair and a kind smile welcomes you and invites you to sit wherever you'd like. You choose a cozy table beside the window and slip off your coat, placing it on the bench beside you. White walls, warm pine trim, and carved wooden details give the cafe the feeling of an old family home rather than a restaurant. Nearby, shelves display jars of homemade jams, pickled vegetables, sauces, and other German specialties, while two large glass cases tempt every visitor with fresh breads, pastries, cakes, cookies, croissants, and eclairs. You smile to yourself. Before the evening is over, you're quite certain you'll be leaving with something sweet. The woman returns carrying a steaming mug of coffee and asks if you're ready to order. You choose a favorite hot sandwich and a bowl of homemade soup, exactly the sort of meal a snowy winter evening seems to call for. While your food is prepared, you wrap both hands around the warm mug and lean comfortably against the bench. The cafe is pleasantly busy but not noisy. Conversations remain soft and unhurried. Every table seems wrapped in its own little circle of warmth and companionship. And you find yourself smiling as you realize how restorative simple things can be. A warm meal, familiar voices, gentle laughter, and nowhere else you need to be. Before long, your meal arrives. You enjoy it slowly, savoring each bite, appreciating not only the food before you, but the quiet kindness with which it has been prepared and served. By the time your bowl is empty and the last sip of coffee has warmed you through, the chill of winter feels wonderfully far away. As you're preparing to leave, you remember the promise you made to yourself. You walk over to the pastry case and choose a generous slice of chocolate cake layered with vanilla cream and topped with fresh strawberries. The cashier carefully boxes it for you, slipping it into a small paper bag with a smile. The little bell above the door gives a cheerful tinkle as you step back outside into the snowy evening. The village has grown quieter now. Night has settled gently over Helen, and strings of warm lights shimmer above the streets, reflecting softly across the fresh snow beneath your boots. You follow the gentle curve of the road until a small bookshop comes into view, its windows glowing with steady candlelight against the deep blue of the winter sky. A bell chimes softly as you step inside. At once the air changes. The fragrance of beeswax candles mingles with old books, pine, and a faint hint of cinnamon. Oil lamps cast warm pools of golden light across quiet shelves, creating the feeling that time itself has chosen to slow down within these walls. A young man wearing a knitted scarf of red, white, and green looks up from behind the counter and smiles warmly. "Please," he says, "make yourself at home." You comment on the gentle lighting. He smiles again. "I keep the lights low on purpose," he says. "Bright lights hurry people along. Candles remind us to notice the weight of a book in our hands and the quiet sound of a page turning. Stories ask for a gentler kind of attention." His words linger with you as you wander slowly through the shelves, your fingertips brushing across cloth bindings and worn leather spines. Near the back of the shop, One slender volume seems almost to choose you. Its title reads Village Life, Poems Gathered from Old European Villages. The description speaks of smallness, kindness, and the beauty of tending what's close at hand. You open the book at random. The passage is brief, yet somehow it feels larger than the page itself. It reminds you that stories are not meant to hurry us forward, but to become places where we can pause, breathe, and simply rest. Closing the book, you realize you'd like to carry that feeling with you. At the counter, you purchase the little volume along with a pine-scented beeswax candle. The shopkeeper wraps them carefully in brown paper, ties the package with a green ribbon, and wishes you a peaceful evening. You thank him and step back into the winter night. The village feels even quieter now. One by one, shopkeepers extinguish their lights. Curtains are drawn. Doors close with gentle clicks instead of hurried bangs. Nothing feels rushed. The entire village seems to understand that the day has offered enough. You walk beneath rows of lanterns, each one casting a small circle of golden light upon the snow. Beneath them, darkness is soft rather than empty, inviting your eyes to linger rather than hurry ahead. Nearby, the familiar voice of the Chattahoochee River calls to you once more. Without thinking about it, your feet follow its gentle conversation. The path curves beside the water until you arrive at a small wooden gazebo resting quietly along the riverbank. Snow has gathered lightly across its roof. You step inside. The wooden railing feels cool beneath your fingertips, steady and reassuring. The river glides quietly below, its rhythm slow and unchanging, while snowflakes drift through the open arches, landing softly upon your sleeves before melting away. You take a seat on the wooden bench and allow your shoulders to relax. For a long while, you simply listen. The river never seems to hurry. It bends around every stone. It carries every fallen leaf. It moves patiently forward without force or struggle. As you listen, you wonder if perhaps rest is something like that. Not something we accomplish, but something we allow. You rest your hands upon the smooth wooden bench beside you, feeling its quiet strength supporting you without effort. Your thoughts become fewer. Your breathing grows slower. The sounds of the village fade until there is only the river, the falling snow, and the peaceful certainty that for this moment, nothing more is being asked of you. Eventually, you stand once more. Ahead, through the softly falling snow, warm amber lights glow from the windows of the Black Bear Inn. Smiling to yourself, you begin walking toward them. The lights of the inn welcome you from across the river like a lantern in the night. Before heading inside, you're drawn toward the fire pit in the gathering area, where a quiet fire crackles beneath the winter sky. You settle into one of the wooden Adirondack chairs arranged around the flames. At first, the wood feels cool beneath you, but before long, the warmth of the fire begins to chase away the last traces of winter chill. Holding your hands toward the dancing flames, you watch tiny sparks drift upward into the darkness before disappearing among the stars. The steady crackle of burning wood mingles with the gentle conversation of the nearby river, creating a peaceful rhythm that asks nothing of you but to sit, breathe in deeply, and enjoy the moment. And for a little while, that's exactly what you do. When you finally stand, you carry with you the quiet feeling that the evening has been preparing you for this place all along. Since you checked in earlier, you walk directly to your room. As you open the door, you're greeted by the welcoming fragrance of pine and cedar. Honey-colored wooden walls glow beneath the soft lamplight, while a thick rug in shades of moss and charcoal cushions the floor beneath your boots. At the center of the room stands a four-poster bed dressed in an alpine patterned quilt of soft ivory, muted greens, and deep reds. A handful of oversized pillows waits patiently near the headboard, while a thick red throw rests neatly across the foot of the bed. Nearby, a wood stove burns quietly, filling the room with gentle warmth and the comforting sound of an occasional crackling log. You set your coat and shopping bags on the bench at the foot of the bed before removing the pine-scented candle from the bookstore and placing it carefully on the small pine desk. Even unlit, its fragrance slowly begins to fill the room. Everything here seems designed with one single purpose: to help weary travelers rest. Just beyond the bedroom, behind a glass door framed in dark timber, you notice a private sauna glowing with mellow amber light. Curious, you step closer. Even through the glass, gentle warmth brushes your face, inviting you to leave behind the last of the day's chill. Unable to resist, you wrap one of the thick white towels around yourself and quietly step inside. Warm, cedar-scented air welcomes you like a familiar embrace. You settle onto the smooth, wooden bench, feeling its gentle warmth spread slowly through the towel and into your tired muscles. Almost without noticing, your breath deepens. Your shoulders relax. The quiet heat seems to dissolve every lingering trace of tension. You close your eyes. For a little while, there is nothing to think about, nothing to remember, nothing to plan. Only the pleasant sensation of warmth surrounding you from every direction. And as you sit there, your thoughts drift back over the evening. The soft glowing lanterns, the welcoming bakery, the candlelit bookstore, the quiet river, the kindness of strangers who expect nothing from you except that you enjoy your visit. And you realize how rare it is to spend an evening in a place that asks nothing of you except to slow down and relax. Perhaps that is what true hospitality has always been. Not extravagance, simply creating a place where another person can finally rest. When the warmth has done its quiet work, you leave the sauna and wrap yourself in a thick white robe. A warm shower washes away the last traces of the evening, leaving you feeling refreshed and wonderfully light. After changing into your favorite sleep clothes, you remember the little paper bag waiting on the desk. Inside is the slice of chocolate cake you chose earlier. You prepare a fresh cup of coffee and carry both to the bedside, smiling at the simple pleasure of ending the day this way. The rich aroma of coffee fills the room, mingling with the fragrance of pine and cedar. Before settling beneath the blankets, you pick up the little book you purchased at the candlelit shop. You open it slowly, wondering which words have been waiting for you all evening. Settling comfortably against the pillows, you unfold the soft blanket across your lap and place your coffee and the slice of chocolate cake on the bedside table. Outside, the snow continues to fall beyond the window. Inside, the fire murmurs quietly in the wood stove, its gentle crackle filling the room with the comforting rhythm that has accompanied you throughout the evening. You savor a small bite of cake, smiling as the chocolate and the sweet vanilla cream melt together across your tongue. Somehow, it tastes even better now than you imagined it would back at the bakery. You lift your warm mug, breathing in the familiar aroma of fresh coffee before taking a slow sip. Simple pleasures, quietly enjoyed, often become the ones we remember the longest. Reaching for the little cloth-bound book you purchased in the candlelit shop, you open it up to the first poem. It is one you've heard of before. The Solitary Reaper by William Wordsworth. You read it aloud. Behold her, single in the field, yon solitary highland lass, reaping and singing by herself. Stop here, or gently pass. Alone she cuts and binds the grain, and sings a melancholy strain. Oh, listen, for the vale profound is overflowing with the sound. No nightingale did ever chaunt so sweetly to reposing bands of travelers in some shady haunt among Arabian sands. No sweeter voice was ever heard in springtime from the cuckoo bird, breaking the silence for the seas among the farthest Hebrides. Will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow for old, unhappy, far-off things and battles long ago. Or perhaps it is some more humble lay, familiar matter of today, some natural sorrow, loss, or pain that has been and may be again. Whate'er the theme, the maiden sang as if her song could have no ending. I saw her singing at her work and o'er the sickle bending. I listened, motionless and still, and as I mounted up the hill, the music in my heart I bore, long after it was heard no more. When you finish reading, you close the book for a moment, resting your hand upon its cover. One line continues to echo within you, as if her song could have no ending. At first you wonder if the words describe endless labor, but the longer you sit with them, the more they seem to be speaking of something entirely different. The young woman continues her work, not because she is rushing toward the end, but because she has become fully present within the moment she is living. Her song and her work have become one gentle rhythm. You think about your own evening in Helen, the warm bakery, the quiet bookshop, the lanterns glowing above snowy streets, the patient voice of the river, the welcoming fire, the peaceful warmth of the sauna. None of these moments hurried you toward the next. Each simply invited you to be completely present while it lasted. Perhaps that has been the lesson of this little village all along. That life feels gentlest when we stop measuring it by how quickly we move through it and begin noticing how completely we inhabit each moment we are given. You place the book back upon the bedside table and finish the last sip of your coffee. The fire has burned lower now. Its light dances softly across the pine walls before settling into a steady amber glow. You reach over and switch off the bedside lamp. Darkness settles gently around the room. But this is not an empty darkness, rather a peaceful one, the kind that wraps around you like another blanket. Your body feels wonderfully heavy beneath the covers. Your breathing has become slow, easy, comfortable. The memories of Helen begin to soften around their edges. Lantern-lit streets, warm bread, the scent of pine, conversations, falling snow, the steady river, kind strangers, the comforting feeling of being welcomed exactly as you are. You realize that throughout this entire evening, care has come to you in the gentlest of ways, not through grand gestures, but through warm rooms, patient hands, shared meals, beautiful stories, and places that quietly made space for you simply to rest, where nothing was asked of you and nothing had to be earned. You were welcomed simply because you arrived, and perhaps That is the greatest gift of care one can be given. Outside, snow continues to fall across the rooftops of Helen. The river carries its quiet conversation through the sleeping village. The lanterns still glow softly in the darkness, waiting patiently for the next weary traveler who needs a place to slow down. And now it's your turn to rest, dear friend. Sleep peacefully and know that whenever you wish, the village will be here, waiting to welcome you home. Good night.